The Thompson submachine gun, a weapon I know literally nothing about other than it's pretty damn good in Call of Duty and it goes brr. And with that, I'm going to try and get to round 50, only using the Tommy gun. World at War Darius is where we're starting. The Thompson in this game is also very goddamn good, so the confidence even before I'd fired a bullet was booming. With the gun being on the wall, all I needed was a couple thousand points and we'd be groovy. However, this is World at War, and the knifing on this game is ass, so the first few rounds are basically a dance with death, and my knees weren't weak at all, I promise. After 2 full rounds of knifing, I had the cheddar and we got the Tommy gun bought. Straight off the rip, this thing is cooking. Between now and honestly the mid-teens, the Tommy gun is cleaning house for fun. These low rounds didn't stand much of a chance as I just bullied zombies for the next couple of rounds with some crispy one-taps and some little bursts of blasting when I got a bit too cocky. Round 6, power is on, and I'm just hanging about in the area, just doing the same old thing, killing some zombies. Thompson on this game is truly an all-timer in terms of overall damage. It is definitely one of the higher ranking guns, obviously excluding the wonder weapons. With that, you can pretty comfortably rely on this gun to do all of the heavy lifting during these early rounds, and if you are able to pair it with the Wunderwaffe or the MG, you are laughing. I genuinely think you'd be borderline unstoppable for at least 50 rounds. Between round 6 and 10, I continued to hang around the power switch. As the rounds went by, I picked up my perks and I was honestly just chilling. End of round 11, I thought it'd be best to at least make a start on opening Pack-a-Punch before I got way too big for my boots. It would have 1000% got me killed. Shortly later, the first teleporter was done, but of course I had to make things awkward for myself, and it wasn't until the beginning of round 14 as to when I actually got the Pack-a-Punch open. Yeah, one of these days, this theme of not opening PAP is definitely backfiring, but not today. Now we had the Gibbs-O-Matic, there was only one thing to do: camp at the catwalk. I know I could train in the area that I was previously camping, but do we seriously trust me to do that on World at War? Because I certainly do not. With the new strategy and upgraded gun, I was in the groove. The Tommy gun was once again chatting its way through the rounds, and I didn't have a care in the world. For now. The rest of the teen rounds, as you can imagine, were a breeze. Apart from the dog rounds, they are still annoyingly difficult. I just hate the dogs with so much passion, like, why are they so tanky? Ugh. The 20s are where I began to have my doubts about the Tommy gun. The damage was still good, don't get me wrong, but by its lonesome, the ammo was kind of stinky. At this point, I was running out of bullets pretty much every single round, which is not great. The early 20s were fine, we were still able to make it through the rounds with a decent amount of ammo in the reserves, and the travel to and from the warbite didn't pose any problems, yet. As I closed in the mid-20s, everything was flipped on its head. I was just about scrapping by in terms of ammo, and it was starting to get a little squeaky bum time when it came to buying the ammo. Especially when for some reason I just forgot to move at the end of round 24. I managed to get my bullets and somehow make it back to the catwalk without dying, and we were even making great progress on the round. But you see, the prior round, I ended with less than 1 magazine's worth of ammo. So surely somewhere in my brain I'd be thinking about that, right? You know, because I'd probably run out of bullets before the end of the round. Did I take that into account? Did a bollocks. I run out of ammo and of course I die. I did try and get out of danger, but it was no use and I was dead. What makes it even worse is I'm fairly certain there was only a handful of zombies left too. Round 25, first attempt on World at War, isn't that bad, but I was never going to hit around 50 on World at War if we're being honest. So that means we're off elsewhere. That place is Black Ops 2. More specifically, Mob of the Dead. After an opening round 25 going into a second run, you'd think the spirits would be high. Confidence soaring, it wasn't. I am not good at Mob, I'm just not. I'm also not afraid to admit that, quite frankly, because I refuse to believe anyone is actually good at this map. Another reason as to why the confidence was low, the Tommy gun, or the M1927 if you want to be difficult, is on the other side of the map. Like literally on the other side of the map, but that's not me being dramatic. It's friggin' miles away from where you spawn. So to tide me over, I bought the M14, as there's not a single chance in hell I'd make it to the docks with just the starting pistol. With the M14 there to keep me safe, we made our way through the opening few rounds. Whilst we also made it through the rounds, I also got the map opened up, and round 3, I took it down. Yeah, I shoot a zombie in the head, he doesn't die, so I back up right into the electrified door where the engine is, and it just downs me. So yeah, off to a great start. Things only get worse from here as well. It's round 5 and I'm on the spiral staircase thing on my way to the docks. I know I could have taken the gondola, but I kind of forgot it existed until later. I took another down on round 5. I have an insta-kill. I'm going to town until I run out of zombie right as insta-kill ends. I knife him. He obviously doesn't die, which sends my brain into dumbass mode and I take another down. Can you tell I was being serious when I said I'm bad at this map? With my unfortunate first few rounds out of the way, I legged it to the Tommy gun wall bite and got it bought. I'd like to say the struggles ended from this point on. They didn't. I didn't take any more downs, but the rounds were still a mess because the Tommy gun on this game, without perks or pack-a-punch, is garbage. Just complete trash. The goal was now perks, especially double tap. It took me a few rounds to get the cheddar, but on round 8, double tap was mine along with jug and speed. I'd also picked up a few parts for the plane and all I needed now was the controls and the clothes. I went to get the clothes first, which almost ended with me taking another down as all hell broke loose, but somehow, honestly don't know how, I didn't die. I started the lockdown, which went by smoothly for once, and I had the clothes within no time. With the clothes required, I beelined it to the roof and got the last part, as well as also buying Deadshot. Yeah. I was doing a lot of hip firing with the Tommy gun, you know, doing my best 60s gangster impression, so I thought, you know, it was a good fit. Round 13, we finally make it to the bridge where we get the Tommy gun upgraded into the speakeasy. My plan from here was to continuously loop around the prison and the bridge, mainly by just using all of my ammo on the bridge, going back to the prison, buying the ammo, grabbing the fuel, and then heading back to the bridge. And weirdly enough, this kind of worked, at least for a short while. We did the loop a couple of times during the teen rounds and things were looking good. The Tommy gun with the upgrades was doing the business and I was cruising through the rounds, and I was well on my way to a new best, although I did take another down in round 17, but we were well into the 20s and this is where shit started to get a bit out of control. Training around the prison whilst grabbing all of the fuel, a lot harder than it sounds, and it was just chaos all the time. But the Tommy gun kept getting me through it, which I won't lie, it was quite surprising since, you know, it's garbage without double tap or pack-a-punch, but here we are. We made it into round 25, equaling World at War, but this time we actually make it through the round. But around 26, I have to head back into the prison for ammo, and everything falls apart. I take it down up by the gondola thanks to a zombie that jumps down right in front of me. Honestly, kind of scared the crap out of me. And it blocks me from the gondola. So, you know, thanks for that game. I revive and make it down to the docks where I get my ammo. It didn't help me much as only a few short seconds later, I'm backed into a corner and down number 2 for round 26. I revive again. This time instead of fighting, I try to run. It has the exact same outcome. There is just no escaping and it's game over on round 26. Mid-20s aren't the best for around 50, so I did the unthinkable. I re-downloaded Vanguard and attempted it there. You know, I wasn't confident going into Mob of the Dead, and I was less than confident about this. Now, Vanguard is a much easier game than Black Ops 2, but when it's round 1 and your submachine gun can't even one-shot a zombie because it only deals 99 damage, and zombies on round 1 have 100 health, it makes you feel like you're kind of screwed. But I didn't let that stop me. I grinded out the opening few rounds by just hanging about in spawn until the end of round 7, when things started getting a little dicey. From here, I made my way over to the fishing hut, and I had to grab that perk first. Don't know why, I just do. The perk was stamina up, which was perfect, as now I'm just a NASCAR but with legs. A couple rounds later, I went and bought myself a pack-a-punch version of the gun from the wall, as mine only had like 2 attachments, but the wall gun version had a dookie sight, so I went back to my basic version. From here, we moved through the map a bit more, where I then got to the Covenants, which, by the way, I still think is one of the best things they've added to zombies, and I might cry if it never returns. I got myself Deadshot, which was huge, as now my gun could actually deal a nice bit of damage. Shortly afterwards, I got my gun Pack-a-Punch, which made this thing great. So great, in fact, that it was now a one-shot, and it stayed that way until round 50. It one shot. That's all it did. It just one shot until round 50. Yeah. Now, obviously, there's a bit more to it than just pack-a-punching and then killing everything. I got myself the fake Deadshot perk, which only increases damage more. I also got an upgraded version of Deadshot, you know, the Covenant, because, well, that's not confusing at all. Deadshot wasn't the only covenant I got that boosted my damage, as I also got dead accurate. This makes it so the more you shoot a single enemy, the more damage you do to the enemy. And much later, I also picked up Unholy Ground, which boosts your damage when you stand still. When you add all three of these covenants to the fake Deadshot perk, as well as the Pack-a-Punch, you get some pretty damn powerful guns. I haven't tested it yet, and I probably never will, but with this setup, you can probably one-shot zombies until around 50 with every gun in the game. It's a little mad. I love to sit here and tell you otherwise, but this run was a doddle. It only ever really got difficult once I passed round 45, mainly because things just get a little chaotic from this point on, but the gun was still doing what it was doing 30 rounds ago, so there really wasn't anything to worry about. And yeah, I hit around 50 with the Tommy gun, and I went to exfil. Won't lie, I did come very close to screwing this up, as I may or may not have gotten a little bit cocky, but we lived, and shortly later, the exfil was done. Round 50 with the Thompson completed. Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like and let me know what other zombie content you want to see from me. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.